It all started on a rainy Monday afternoon in Seattle. Claire Thomas stood under the awning of a quiet little bookstore downtown, watching the water stream down the gutters like racing ribbons. Her umbrella had broken 2 blocks ago, and she was soaked from her knees down. She hated rain. It reminded her too much of loneliness, of waiting too long for something, or someone that never showed up. She had just left a job interview she didn't even want. After a rough breakup 6 months prior, her confidence had taken a hit. She was trying at least to rebuild. Her ex, Tyler, had left her with nothing but doubt and emotional bruises. He never made her feel secure. Promises were empty. He always had one foot out the door. But as fate would have it, that rainy Monday wasn't the end of her story. In fact, it was the beginning. A man stepped beside her, shaking out his own umbrella and tucking it under his arm. He was tall, maybe 6'1", with hazel eyes and the kind of smile that seemed to appear slowly and sincerely, not rushed like most. He glanced over and offered a polite nod. "Forgot your umbrella?" he asked, his voice warm but casual. Claire looked at her mangled, bent umbrella and let out a half-hearted laugh. "Something like that." "I'm James," he said, extending his hand. "I always keep a backup. Want to share mine till you get to wherever you're going?" She hesitated for a moment but saw nothing but kindness in his eyes. "Claire. Sure, thanks. Just 2 blocks up." As they walked, he didn't make her feel uncomfortable. There was no flirting, no weird energy, just a guy helping someone through the rain. They talked briefly about books and weather, and by the time she reached her bus stop, she found herself smiling for the first time in days. They ran into each other again a week later, this time inside the same bookstore where they'd first met. Claire was browsing the poetry section. James saw her before she noticed him, and instead of startling her, he simply waited until she looked up. "I was hoping you'd come back," he said, holding a novel in his hands. "Or maybe I was hoping to see you again." Claire laughed, genuinely this time. "What are you reading?" And so began a slow, cautious connection. Over the following months, their friendship blossomed. James never rushed her. He never asked intrusive questions or made assumptions. He respected her space but was always there, always kind, always consistent. Unlike Tyler, who played hot and cold, James showed up every time he said he would. He remembered little things like how she took her coffee or which authors she liked. He asked about her day and genuinely listened. He met her friends, her sister, even her co-workers at a charity dinner. And each time he was the same, calm, present, and reliable. One evening, after they'd been seeing each other for about 4 months, Claire found herself staring at James across the table in a small Italian restaurant. He was telling a story about his dog Scout, who had somehow stolen and hidden an entire bag of bread rolls. Claire didn't hear half the story. She was too busy watching the way he smiled, the way he lit up when talking about something so small and ordinary. And that's when she realized she trusted him completely. After dinner, they walked back toward her place. The wind was cold, and he noticed she shivered slightly. Without a word, he shrugged off his coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You didn't have to," she said, but her voice cracked a little with emotion. "I wanted to," he replied, meeting her eyes. "Claire, I don't want to push you, but I need to say this. Care about you. Luck. And I want you in my life, for the long run. But only if you're ready." Claire stopped walking. Her heart thudded in her chest. "You mean, like serious?" James nodded. "I mean forever. I want to grow with you, not rush you. I'm not going anywhere." Tears filled her eyes, not because she was afraid, but because it felt so unfamiliar to be loved this gently, this honestly. Tyler had always dangled commitment like a carrot on a stick. But James didn't dangle anything. He offered. They didn't move in together right away. Claire appreciated how James let her set the pace. She'd spent too much of her past trying to match someone else's rhythm. Now she danced at her own speed, and James was happy to keep step with her. A year later, he planned a weekend trip to a cabin in Oregon. It was cozy, with wood-paneled walls and a view of the lake. One morning, as the fog lifted from the water, he made her pancakes and kissed her forehead. "You know," he said, sliding a cup of coffee in front of her, "I've been thinking." Claire smiled over her mug. "Dangerous." He grinned. "I've never felt this sure of anything before. I love you, Claire. And I want to be with you forever." She blinked, surprised. "Are you proposing?" James chuckled. "Nope. Just declaring. No pressure. No ring yet. I want to give you the space to know it's real." And that was exactly why Claire's heart fully opened to him. They got engaged 6 months after that, with Claire choosing the ring with him. There was no elaborate performance, just a quiet moment in their favorite park, where James took her hands in his and asked simply, "Ready?" Claire nodded. More than ready. Marriage didn't make James change. He remained as thoughtful and attentive as ever. He still cooked her favorite breakfast on Saturdays. Still left handwritten notes by the coffee maker. Still made her laugh when her job stressed her out. And when they fought, because all couples do, he never walked away. He listened. He apologized. He never made her feel like she was too much or not enough. Years passed, and one day, after putting their newborn daughter down for a nap, Claire sat beside James on the couch, holding his hand. "I never thought I'd find someone like you," she whispered. James looked at her with that same slow, sincere smile from years ago. "A man who loves you and wants you in his life forever will never make you question that. He'll never disappear when it gets hard or use love like a weapon. He stays. He shows up. Always." Claire leaned her head on his shoulder and closed her eyes. "I know," she whispered. "Because you did." And she smiled, knowing that real love wasn't loud or dramatic. It was steady. It was safe. It was James.